What's up, guys? Mr. Knows Hoops back today with another video, and today I am discussing the breakout of Franz Wagner. Now, I know you might be thinking, but Emster, Franz has been good for a while, minus the three-point shot last year. Well, ever since Paolo Banchero went down after about the fourth game of the season, I believe, everyone sort of thought it was over, that this season might go to wraps, but Franz said no. So Franz this season has been averaging 24, 6, and 6. Now, you might say, well, that's cool, but since that Chicago game, he's been averaging about, the same amount of rebounds and assists, but with 27 or 26 points per game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals on 46 from the field and about 33 from 3. Either way, what Franz has been doing has been nothing short of remarkable. So today we're going to talk about how Franz Wagner, quite frankly, has played himself into an MVP conversation this year. Now, do I think he'll win it or anything, or really isn't that tight of the race? Maybe not. But I think what he's been doing for this team is, it's undisputable, really. So let's get right into it. And the first thing I want to talk about is the scoring game. Obviously, there was a big concern with Franz coming off of last year in the playoffs. The 3-ball wasn't falling. He's back up to about 35% now and about 7 attempts a game. I would probably prefer the volume to go down a little bit, but I get it, right? There's no Paolo, so you're literally the offensive engine of a team that doesn't necessarily have any. I love I don't know if I love passing up this three, right? Because he is wide open. But he also notices this. Okay, the whole paint's kind of free right now. Booker's coming over. And all I have is me and Buck. I can get that float game up, right? And this year, Franz about 42% from the mid-range, which isn't bad, considering that, again, he's the primary guy now. Franz has been nothing short of remarkable. So then as we get the ball up here, right, the screen from Goga, Franz steps back, and I love that, right? Like that willingness to go, okay, you're giving me the chance. I'm going to take it. Just like I'm going to take the chance to remind you guys, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. We are on the path to 1K, and you guys have been killing it, so let's get there. But back to the video. So, Franz does a great job here, right? Gets the screen, pinned down from Goga, right? This is a bad defense, too, from Phoenix, but still, right? Like, those are the shots that you're going to need to make if you're going to basically be the entire offense of a team, right? Now, Franz gets Allen in the post. Works him down, right? Gets him down into the restricted area. Tough little float, fadeaway game, right? And now they're running over to get Book. Franz does a great job. Waits. Plumlee's too slow to get over. And again, I think Franz, quite frankly, has just been taking smarter shots. Not that he was a bad shot taker before, but I think at times, he would either really settle for the 3 or he would just try and completely avoid the 3. And it's like, you got to mix up your game a little bit, especially because, again, he's not Giannis from 3. He's not a brick from 3. Like, he can make a 3-ball. And you got to make teams respect that, because I remember at the beginning of the year, the very beginning, right, when they were playing teams like the Heat, they would play drop on them. They didn't respect the 3. They basically said those first 2 years, the team was terrible, and you were probably making it because no one really cared. And then, they had 1 year where they were good, and it fell off a cliff. But then you get moments like this. Clutch time. Step back. The jumper isn't even that nice, but he gets what he needs, right? And I think that's what has been so incredible for Franz, because a team that was basically expected to fall off a cliff, because their offense is still bad. Like, it's a bad offense. It's basically Franz trying to orchestrate everything. And he's been able to. I think he's really stepped up to the call, and that's nothing short of remarkable, especially as a scorer, right? Like, again, I just love the confidence he's regained in the 3-ball. That is how you're going to win a game, right? That is how you're going to take a defense or an offense that isn't that good and just take over. And even here, right, I love the cut, the continuing to cut. And that's the other thing. I watched a Jamal Mosley interview, and he talked about how Franz was a smart player. He always wanted to make the right play. But he loves that now he's being forced to kind of have to take a selfish shot. And I think that could elevate not only him, but when Paolo comes back, this team to a higher level. And now let's get into the playmaking of Franz Wagner. And with Franz averaging about 6 assists a game, I think it's important to discuss how Franz is not just the scorer for this team, but he is also, again, an engine right now. He is generating the offensive buckets. All right, so Goga here goes. Tristan da Silva gets the ball, right? Up, over. You get the little cut. Again, assists like this. It is what it is, right? Every player has them. I've even talked about that with someone like Nikola Jokic, right? But I love here they get the double. And again, Franz is just very calm and collected. He doesn't let it get to him, right? Like they go here, they basically get off the slugs, which I don't get why they did that, to be honest. And this was just a poor decision here. I think that's Rui. I'm gonna just be honest, it's terrible decision making by Rui. But still, right? Like Franz is, I think, as a playmaker, has genuinely stepped up big time. Like this is a beautiful pass. I'm gonna just be honest. Like he starts pushing. Rui comes over, right? And as Rui comes over, that zone basically gets left open. But he throws the ball. Franz throws the ball perfectly to where Cole Anthony's still in motion, right? Like in step. To where he can help, right? And then they get the steal up to Franz, right? AR basically commits to him, throws it to his brother, which must be, I'm not gonna lie, that must be gas. Having your own sibling on the team and you guys could be cooking together. That must be fun as hell. I'm not going to lie. But either way, that's what I was saying. The way that Franz can orchestrate from the half court, and even more importantly, right, this team is a defensive team. So he needs to be able to take over in transition, which he's been able to do consistently, right? Like he does a great job here. What he does so well is he lets Hachimura come in and he forces Connect to stick into the paint because Goga is still rolling. So he could give it to Goga. So instead, Franz gives it to the wide open Jalen Suggs, who can hit that three ball. Right? I think that's what Franz has done so well, and what the Magic do well is that their offense, while it's not good, right, because they don't have a lot of three-point shooters, they don't shoot it that often either. They run a very simple style of offense. So in that way, right, for a defense, it's like, oh, well, I'll just counter it in a simple way. But then they can take advantage of that, right? Like we saw in transition there. But even there, Franz does this is something where they think they cut it off, right, because it's from Goga. But they take advantage of LeBron seeing Goga roll, and he steps over to that. So Franz goes, oh, well, that means Tristan's open. And then Tristan can just get the catch and shoot three ball, right? And again, keeping them in the game, right? Like he's got to do more than just score, because you see them basically going for the hard double in the hedge. They're basically saying, Franz, you have to score to beat us. And he's like, okay, well, I don't necessarily have to do that because here's another three ball. I think what he's been able to generate as a playmaker, I think it's huge. Now, I still do, and I still am of the belief that this team needs a primary ball handler, a legitimate point guard. I do not think Franz and Paolo are meant to be the primary ball handler. But, again, I think this is helping Franz, especially as, in the eyes of the Magic, probably the second option, elevate his game. To when Paolo comes back, the repertoire and the skills will be there so that if Paolo's having a bad game, if Paolo fouls out or is in foul trouble, he can be like, okay, I've been here. I can do this. We know what we're doing, which is huge. And then finally, we got to talk about the defense. I mean, you're averaging about 2 steals a game with about half a block, and you're one of the top 5 or 3 defenses in the league still. We got to talk about Franz Wagner's defense. And then finally, now we get to Franz's defense, where you get to a possession like this, right? Amir Coffey loses the ball. Franz does a great job, right? He keeps in the lanes, which is always important. And that's just Jamal Mosley's, style. They love that kind of defense. You always need to be involved. But I love here, he basically calls out for Tristan to go follow the man cutting, right? Going back door. And as Harden falls over, right, from KCP, Franz is able to just kind of take it over and then just, transition. That's part of why they've been so good. The defense, and Franz have been able to now to be a maestro on the transition game. And I love here he picks up Harden, right? And then he goes off of Harden because basically Zubac gets, the ball tipped out of his hands. So again, now they got lucky because that should have been and one because Harden did just try to foul him. Franz does a great job, right? He then applies the pressure to Harden. And I think, again, Franz just always being active is going to be important for this team if they want to win. And I think the defense has always been good for Franz, so I've never really thought it was going to be that big of a part of a video, which is why I saved it for last. I think he's always going to be an involved defensive player. That's just how he is. But his offensive game has stepped up. Now, obviously, when Paolo comes back, his numbers probably will dip. But I think now the league is realizing, or teams are realizing, it's not just Paolo and Franz. Like, no, like Paolo and Franz are a legitimate duo. Now, do I think they're going to win? Not necessarily. But Franz has been playing as an MVP caliber player. I'm sorry. He just has. Like, whenever the next rankings come out, I need to see him in the top 10 easily. Like, maybe even top 5, quite frankly. Like, they're a top 3 seed in the East. And part of it is the East has not been good, right? Like, the Bucks are finally turning it around. The Sixers still suck. A lot of injuries and all that. But even then, if you put them in the West, I think they're still like a top 3 to 4 seed there. So basically, Franz Wagner has taken this team onto his back and proved that he's a legitimate, that he's worth what he got from them in that contract. Because that contract was huge. And he's frankly said, like, okay, this is why they signed me. So let me know what you guys think down below. Is Franz a legitimate second option on a championship team? Is he a number 1? Are you guys like really buying into this? Let me know what you think down below. As always, this was M's for Nose Hoops. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out. Peace out.